Don't forget to like, subscribe and share the videos.
Hello all, welcome to Ganesh IAS Academy. This is the special session. In this session, we are going to discuss about the previous year UPSC Mains economic question. Okay, so let's begin the session. This question was asked in 2013 and it is related to the land reform. When you start to studying about the questions from the previous year, you have to think about the relevance of it. For example, there is a syllabus topic called as land reform. If the question is related to the land reform means, and when they are asking it, for example, it is asked in 2013, even in 2023 also, they asked a question related to the land reform. So in that scenario, you have to think about its relevance, whether still there is a relevance for this question or not. Based on that only, you have to decode that whether there is a possibility for these questions to be repeated in the upcoming exam or not. For example, when it comes to the land reform, this thing is started at the time of the independence. At the time of the independence, due to the British era, there is a thing called a zamindari system, and then mahalwari, rayatwari. There are various land management system was there. In that scenario, after the time of independence, all the land holdings was under the control of the zamindari, mahalwaris, and the rayatwari. So there is a heavy inequality present in the land. So major land holding was under the control of this zamindaris and mahalwaris and rayatwaris. But the major chunk of people, around 80% of the people was living in that poverty. So that is the major issue. At that scenario, they came with the idea called as land reform, to redistribute the land to the people who are the landless laborer, to whom they don't have any belonging to that land. So government thinks that it's better to redistribute that land. So in that sense, they came with the idea called as this land reform. But this thing was around, they did it around the time of before 75 years. So it is now 2024. But still there is a major relevance for this land reform based question. The reason is the land reform, what the government did is not that much fruit, that is not giving that much of fruitful evidence or the outcomes in the society. So still there are many people who are rest without a land. So that is the major concern. Still there is a possibility for these questions from the land reform. So before you are going to read about any previous year questions, you have to think in that manner, whether there is a relevance for this question to be repeated in various forms. For example, about a land reform or else about a green revolution. So when it comes to the green revolution, still there is a relevance. So even though the green revolution was done at the time period of 1962 around 60s, still there is a relevance for this green revolution based question, because now we are speaking about a green revolution 2.0 to overcome the issues what they did to the society related to the environment. To overcome that thing, we are now focusing on the green revolution 2.0. So in that sense, you have to decode that whether there is a new possibility for this question to be repeated. So in that sense, you have to decode it and you can easily predict what are the possible questions that will be in the upcoming mains exam. So that is the only thing you have to do. Okay, let's begin the question. Establish the relationship between the land reform. First keyword here is land reform. Second, agricultural productivity. And the third is elimination of the poverty. In the Indian economy, discuss the difficulty in designing and implementation of the agricultural friendly land reform in India. This was a question asked in 2013 and it is a 10 mark 150 words question. So first thing is there are three keywords. For which keyword you are going to give a into. For that, you have to be more precise about your syllabus. In syllabus, there is a no word called as agricultural productivity, elimination of poverty. Even though there is a word called as poverty, there is nothing called as elimination of poverty. So better you can go with the intro based on what is land reform, because this question is more of speaking about what is the land reform, and also it is going to speak about the design and implementation of agriculture friendly reform, land reform in India. So the question is more about the land reform. So intro will be related to what is land reform. So land reform is nothing but it is the redistribution of the land to the farmer who are not having any land holdings. So that is the major idea about the land reform. And why we need a land reform is due to the British era. When the British is leaving the India, they left the system in India itself. So the system of Zamindari system, Mahalwari system, that still prevail after the independence also. So that is the major reasons we need for the law about the land reform. So it is simply you can say that redistribution of land to the landless laborer or poor. So this is what land reform is. So land reform aimed at redistributing the land ownership to foster the equitable access and enhances the agricultural productivity, stands as a cornerstone in the nation's quest to elevate the poverty. So this is a simply you can say. Next, you have to speak about what is agricultural productivity and how it is related to land reform. You have to create a chain of link between these things, because the question is saying that establish the relationship between the land reform, agricultural productivity, and then the elimination of poverty in the Indian economy. So you have to create a relationship. First of all, when it comes to land reform, it is about redistribution of the land. When it comes to agricultural productivity, means it is the efficiency of the land to produce the outcome. For example, in a 1 hectare of land, I am able to produce 10 tons of wheat, means that is one of the agricultural productivity, 10 tons per hectare. In that, in another land of same 1 hectare, I am able to produce 12 tons of wheat, means then the productivity is higher for the land holding of 2. So this is about agricultural productivity. It is the efficiency. So efficiency of the land to produce the higher output with smaller input. So that is all about the efficiency or the agricultural productivity. So you have to know, first of all, you have to say what is agricultural productivity. Next, you have to create a relationship between how the land reform and the agricultural productivity is related. So when it comes to land reform, it is redistribution of the land. So if there is a redistribution is happened to the landless laborer, means they will focus on the land to enhances their productivity. So for example, if the zamindar he is holding the land of 50 hectare, means and it is producing the output of 50 tons. In the another scenario, if that 50 hectare of the land is redistributed with the landless laborer, means and they are able to produce 60 tons. So which means the productivity is increasing. Why it is increasing is because the people who are having the holding the ownership of that land, they will be more focused on the productivity of the land, and also they will try to enhance it by doing a good agricultural practices, minimum tillage, and then also they will focus on the better irrigation practices. In that sense, they will have the cultural connect with their land that will able to increases the agricultural productivity. So if there is a increases in the agricultural productivity, that will increases the output. If the increases in the output means that will increases the profit or income generated by the farmer. So in that sense, it will eliminate the poverty. So this is the link between the land reform and then agricultural productivity and then elimination of the poverty. So once the elimination of the poverty is done means that will helps you to increases in the growth rate of the GDP or else the increases in the national income of India. So this is the link you have to establish. So better you can go with the circle like thing, land reform. So this is the better way of presenting your answer. Land reform that will helps you to increases the agricultural productivity. So that will eliminate the poverty. So that will increases the national income. So that will helps you to make a good ranking in GDP. So that will helps you to again you can focus on the based on the feedbacks we can enhance the land reform policy, and also we will focus on the enhancing the agricultural productivity by doing better land practices. So this is the cycle you have to establish. So this is called as virtuous cycle. Virtuous cycle of growth. This is the way you have to present your answer, because the question is asking for a relationship between the land reform, agricultural productivity and the elimination of the poverty. If any question is asking about a relationship means try to give a presentation in a good manner, like making a flow chart or else giving a presentations like this, making a circular economic flow. In that sense, try to present a good presentations that will fetch you the extra marks. So this is the relationship between the land reform and then agricultural productivity and the elimination of the poverty. Now, you have to discuss about the difficulties in designing and implementation of the agriculture friendly land reforms in India. First thing about this, first of all, why we need the land reforms? It is going to eliminate the poverty and also it will provide the inclusive society, inclusive growth. At the same time, it will enhances the socio-economic conditions of the rural agrarian society. So these are the benefits of the land reform. Now you have to speak about the issues or difficulties in designing and implementation of the land reform. The first major issue with this land reform policy is land comes under the state subject. Due to being it is a part of the state subject, the implementation or and design is not in uniform manner. So the uniformity, that is the heading, is not there. First major issue here is when it comes to land reform, different states have the different laws. So that is the major concern. So already there is a issue of the inequality. Land distribution itself is a major issue, and also that based on the difference in the law, there is a issue of redistribution itself become the major concern, and also regional disparity was created due to this difference in the law for various states. Due to the reason is about a state subject. Next concern here is about the design of the law. For that, you can go with the examples of land ceiling. about a land ceiling law. In that it says that the individual can hold 5 hectares of land. Consider that a zamindari family. In that family, there is a father, there is a mother, and also for them, they are holding around 4 children. So there are 6 members in the family. So 6 into 5, that lead to 30 hectares they can hold. Obviously, a zamindari that they will hold around 30 to 50 hectares. So they can easily redistribute the land with themselves, within their family. In that way, still they are going to hold the large chunk of the land with them. So that is the next major issue when it comes to the design of the law. So the design of the law itself major issue. 5 hectares of land per person. So the design is holding a law that is supporting the individual. If the law is about the family, then that is a good law. But this is the major loophole in that law. So this is the second issue. Third issue is about lobbying. So the lawmaker, mostly the lawmaker, they themselves are belongs to the zamindari family, or else they are either one or another way are connected to the zamindari family. So they are influencing the lawmakers to make the law that is containing lot of loopholes, or else the enforcement, when it comes to the enforcement, that is not that much strong. The reason is due to this lobbying issue. That is the another major concern when it comes to this land reform policy. And another major issue is what they are doing is the zamindaris, they will donate the land that is more of barren land, which means consider that I am a zamindar, I am holding around 30 hectares of land. In that in that 30 hectares of land, the 10 hectares of the land only is more of fertile land, and also it has the irrigated facility. Irrigation facility is also there. So what I will do is I will give away the 20 hectares of the land that is more of sterile land, and also it is not going to provide any productive output from that land. So I just gave that land to the government. So donating the barren land. This is also another major concern when it comes to the land reform policy. So these are the major concerns about the designing and implementation of the land reform law in India. So these are the things lead to the issue of the failure of the land reform. And according to the data, around 10% of farmer holding 53% of agri land, which means there is a huge failure in the land reform law. So this is the major concern about the land reform. In the conclusion, you can say that we need land reform 2.0. In such a way, you can complete the answer, because you have to accept that the land reform what we done is not giving any outcome. And also India is holding around more than 85% of landowner or belongs to the small and marginal farmers. So which means there is a need of the land reform policy. Foolproof land reform policy we need, still we need it. So in that sense you can complete the answer. So this is the way of presenting your answer in a more of good manner. Okay, thank you.